Hi, my name is Joseph Monge, and I'm the founder of Online Advisors Insurance Agency, where we're licensed providers of insurance intermediary services, where we provide access to different insurance covers within the Kenyan market. Now, in this video, we're going to look at one of the most popular health insurance plans, and through this presentation, we'll be able to highlight key benefits and also key insights which will help you make a better informed decision when it comes to purchasing your health insurance cover. So for this cover, we look at Jubilee Health Insurance. Now this is one of the oldest insurance companies within the Kenyan market, existing over 80 years, providing access to health insurance and other insurance services. So let's get started. So the first thing which you might be asking yourself, why health insurance? So why do you need health insurance? So the top benefit is savings. So you find with health insurance, the amount which you pay, which is referred to as premiums, is definitely lower than the benefits which you're purchasing. So there's some saving in that sense, since the money which you put up front is less than the limits of your coverage. The next key benefit is convenience and peace of mind. So you find if you have health insurance, you have the convenience of accessing a hospital in the event of illness or in the event of an emergency. And also you have the peace of mind knowing that your health is covered. You also have financial planning. So the financial planning, this refers to the way you arrange or rather prepare your financials to cater for your daily needs or for your projected utilization. So when you have health insurance, you know that you're covered in the event that there is need for a high cost to either treat an illness or resulting from an accident. You know that your finances won't be greatly affected since you had provisions in form of health insurance. You also have access to multiple top-end facilities, and by facilities I mean the top hospitals. Once you have this medical insurance plan, you can easily access the top hospitals, both within the country and also outside the country on referral basis. You also have free inbuilt benefits such as vaccines and COVID cover up to 500,000 Kenya shillings. So within the Kenyan market, there are different providers of health insurance. So these are some of the key reasons which we recommend Jubilee Health Insurance as one of the providers of health insurance services to our clients and also other related parties. The first reason being experience. So we had earlier mentioned that the company has been in existence for over 80 years right now. So this shows the long-term plan, or rather the long-term ability of this particular company to offer these particular products. And also with this experience, you're also more or less guaranteed that the probability of them failing to exist in the near future is quite low, unlike having a cover from a newer company which doesn't currently have a proven track record. They also have financial stability. So with financial stability, the company is listed in 3 markets within East Africa, proving that they have a strong financial base. And this is ideal because when it comes to health insurance, you find in most cases a lot of insurance companies incur losses since the amount which is paid out in claims towards illnesses is actually in most cases higher than the amount contributed in premiums within a particular period in time. So it's a deal for any insurance company to have a strong financial base to ensure that it's able to honor the claims when they fall due. The company also provides access to a wide panel of specialists and hospitals. So in the event that you have an illness, it's easy to get a specialist or hospital within your specified location. And finally, they also offer the Maisha Fiti wellness program, which is mainly a loyalty program and also a telemedicine program where they offer drug delivery in the event of illness prescriptions. Now let's look at the categorization of this product. So this product is mainly categorized into three specified products. The first one being J-Care Junior. Now for the J-Care Junior, this covers patients or other clients from the age of 0 to 17. So it's ideal for children from birth up to 17 years. They also have the J-Care standard program, or rather the J-Care Premium product, which covers from 17 years up to 64 years. And finally, there's the J-Care Senior product, going from 65 years to 79 years. And also another important thing, once you're already onboarded on the J Senior, you can actually be able to enjoy the benefit up to the end of your life. Now that's on basis that you continue paying the premium and you're also in line with the terms and conditions of the insurance company. Now let's look at J-Care Junior and the standard J-Care. So generally covering from age 0 up to 64 years. So the first key distinction is overseas treatment pre-authorization, and from the silver plan, which we'll be able to highlight it later on, you also get economy airfare to India covered for you in the event of being referred there for treatment. And there's also a limit of up to 3 million for newly diagnosed conditions. There's also a benefit of occupational therapy, speech therapy, and pain management. And there's also KP, baby-friendly vaccines, up to a limit of up to 1.5 years, which is 1.5 years. Now these are the vaccines needed for children after birth. And then there's also annual checkups for the spouse and the principal member, up to a limit of 10,000 Kenya shillings. So these are key differentiators between the offering and most standard medical insurance plans. There is also free last expense and personal accident cover for the principal member. The free last expense, this is mainly expenses related to death, unfortunate death after an illness. There's also access to external aids such as wheelchairs, crutches, and hearing aids. There is family planning for long-acting methods, which is covered. So you know that for family planning, generally, it's not covered under health insurance, and it's stated as an exemption for any particular medication. Now, there's also the first emergency CS for maternity with 1 year waiting period is provided. Up to 6 years out of country on emergencies is covered, and 50 years plus need to undertake a medical test. So this is provided through the panel of service providers. Now let's look at the inpatient benefits for the J-Care Junior and the standard J-Care. So they've categorized the inpatient benefits into 6 main categories, where the overall benefits range from 500,000 Kenya shillings to 10 million Kenya shillings. It's also good to note that in the event that you're taking as this cover as a family, this limit is usually shared amongst the members, and in the event that you need each member to have this limit, each member needs to take their own medical cover separately. So for the first category, It's called Classic. So for Classic, you find the overall benefit limit per family per year is 500,000 Kenya shillings. This is followed by the premium package, where the limit is 1 million shillings. Next, there is the advanced package, where the limit is 2 million shillings. There's the executive package, where the limit is 3 million shillings. And then the royal package with 5 million shillings. And finally, the prestige package with 10 million Kenya shillings. Now, this is the limit which is covered for hospitalization. And by inpatient, this means that you need to be admitted. Any additional benefit is paid for differently, such as the outpatient cover, maternity cover. Those can be explained in greater details during a one-to-one session. One important thing to note, there's also a key consideration which we need to realize. Yes, the limit is high, but there are specified illnesses where the limit is lower for each particular package. So this is in relation to the following issues. First, pre-existing and or chronic conditions, gynecological conditions, hernias, hemorrhoids, thyroidectomy, adenoids, congenital organ transplant, HIV and AIDS, and related conditions existing and or diagnosed at the time of joining. So all those conditions which I've stated, they usually have a 1 year waiting period, meaning you can't enjoy them. This medical cover for these particular conditions during the first year of you purchasing this particular cover, but on the second year you'll be able to enjoy these particular benefits. However, the limits of coverage is way lower than the overall limit. So for example, for the first package, which was the Classic, you find that the overall inpatient limit was 500,000, but for these conditions, it's 250,000. For the next limit, it's 300,000, then 400,000, then 500,000, 1 million, and finally 2 million. And with this, you can realize there's a very huge difference. For example, for the last limit, you realize that for your inpatient cover limit, it was 10 million, but for these specified conditions, they are capped at 2 million. This is mainly to prevent the overuse of the pool collected from other clients. So you find these particular conditions can be quite expensive. So you find the cost per customer, or rather per insured, is way higher than the standard inpatient illnesses where people visit the hospital for general admission following illness. And also, next, there is an additional 2 years waiting period for cancer treatment, which is subject to the same limits, the same lower limit which I'm just mentioning for the other conditions. Okay. Now, there's also confirmed newly diagnosed chronic conditions after 3 months of cover inception. So for this, the limits are even reduced slightly in some cases, and for the higher limits, it's increased. So for example, for Classic, these confirmed newly diagnosed chronic conditions after 3 months of cover inception, you find that it's covered up to 200,000 Kenya shillings. The next package, its cover limit is up to 400,000 Kenya shillings, followed by 800,000 Kenya shillings, 1.2 million, then 2 million, and finally the last package covers up to 3 million Kenya shillings. There's also now another categorization for psychiatric conditions subject to the above conditions, where there's a 1 year waiting period. So the limit for the first package is 100,000 Kenya shillings, followed by 200,000 Kenya shillings, then 250,000, 300,000, 500,000, and finally, for the final package, it covers up to 750,000 Kenya shillings. Now, with that, you have a clear overview of the J Junior and the standard J Care. So this is generally coverage from 0 years all the way up to 64 years. Now let's look at the J Seniors package. So some of the key differentiators, of course, number one is overseas treatment after pre-authorization, and also with the silver package, or rather from the silver package, you enjoy economy fare to India, fully paid. Then newly diagnosed after 3 months, it's covered up to 3 million. Any newly diagnosed condition. There's also knee and hip replacement after a 1 year waiting period, and hearing aids 1 in 3 years. You also enjoy hospice care up to 300,000 Kenya shillings, annual checkups up to 10,000 Kenya shillings, preventive vaccines such as pneumonia and flu up to 5,000 Kenya shillings, and the Jubilee Wellness Program admission and free last expense and personal accident cover for the principal member. And by the principal member, this I mean the key person insured within the health insurance plan. Now for this cover, when it comes to their inpatient limits, they are categorized into 5 sectors, where the first sector is copper, where the overall benefit limits per year is 500,000 Kenya shillings, followed by bronze, which is 1 million Kenya shillings, then silver 3 million, gold 5 million, and diamond 10 million Kenya shillings. Now the sub-limits for pre-existing and or chronic congenital conditions, gynecological conditions, hernias, hemorrhoids, adenoids, HIV and AIDS, and related conditions, thyroidectomy existing at the time of joining, subject to full disclosure at the time of joining. There's a 1 year waiting period, and these are the limit amounts. So for copper, it's 200,000. For bronze, 300,000. For silver, 600,000. Gold, 1 million. Diamond, 1.5 million. Cancer treatment with a 2 year waiting period. The limit is 200,000, and that's for copper. Bronze, 300. Then 600,000, 1 million, and finally 1.5 million for diamond. There's also organ transplant for the insured with 1 year waiting period, where for copper it's 200,000 Kenya shillings, followed by 300,000, 600, 1 million, and finally 1.5 million for the diamond plan. There's the knee and hip replacement with 1 year waiting period. We have the first limit going for 200,000 Kenya shillings, followed by 300,000, 600, 1 million, and finally 1.5 million. For confirmed newly diagnosed chronic conditions after 3 months of cover inception, we have 200,000 Kenya shillings for copper, followed by 400,000, 1.2 million, 2 million, and finally 3 million for the diamond plan. For COVID-19 hospitalization benefit, this is a fixed amount of 500,000 across board. For psychiatric conditions, with 1 year waiting period, it's fully covered without any additional limitations depending on your package. So it's covered up to the limit. Bed limits per day, NHIF applicable on the limits shown. You find that for copper and bronze, you're covered for the general ward. For silver, standard private room up to 12,500. This is per night. Standard private room up to 24,000 under the gold package. And finally, for diamond, the standard private room up to 32,000 Kenya shillings. Now that's also highlighted overview of the J seniors. And for the additional information, such as outpatient charges and limits, this will be applicable when requesting a quotation, and will easily be advised accordingly. Now let's look at some of the key waiting periods. So waiting periods, this refers to the time which you need to wait before you're able to enjoy certain coverage related to your insurance cover. So for accidents, there's a 0-day waiting period, meaning any health expenses related to accidents are covered immediately. You get your health insurance cover. There's a 30-day cover for outpatient benefits. There's a 1 year for maternity. There's a 1 year for pre-existing and chronic conditions, and there's a 2 year for cancer. So this is applicable on all the categories. That's the J Junior, J Care, and the J Senior. Now for the selection guide, you find that there is what is referred to as a straight line down from inpatient limit. So each benefit follows the type of limit which you choose. So let's say you've chosen an inpatient limit of 500,000 Kenya shillings. You can't go for the outpatient, which is higher. So you go for the lowest outpatient, meaning the straight line down. So this we can easily advise further during the quotation period. Dependents take the same benefits as principal. So you as the principal member, let's say you're taking a cover, you and your spouse, and you're the principal member. If you take a cover where the limit is 300,000, 3 million Kenya shillings, you can take for your spouse a lower limit. So you find that for what the principal has taken, every other member under that health insurance plan has to take the same limit. Dental and optical limits are taken together. You can't purchase dental and avoid optical. And also for you to be able to get dental and optical cover, you also need to purchase the outpatient cover. After medical examinations, the premiums may vary depending on your current health condition. There's waiver of waiting period, where you share renewal utilization subject to approval. And with this also, it's good to note that premiums may vary for this to be done. There's no refund unless 90% utilization. So with this means that you simply access the medical facilities and not pay directly, but use the cards for them to be able to be paid by the insurance company. There's also something referred to as the copay. Copay is the amount which you have to pay when accessing certain hospitals. So there's a copay of 2,000 Kenya shillings when you access the following main hospitals. And by main hospitals, I mean this doesn't apply to their branches. So there's Nairobi Hospital, Mpisha, Aga Khan, Gertrude's, and AAR, Kiambu. So when you access these hospitals for outpatient services, you know that you need to pay for the copay at 2,000 Kenya shillings, and the insurance company will be able to cover the rest. And there's also a copay of 1,000 Kenya shillings when you access the following hospitals: Mata, Avenue Parklands, Medihill, Parklands and Eldoret Hospital, St. Luke's Orthopedic, Mombasa Hospital, and Premier Nyali. So if you access these hospitals, there is a copay of 1,000 Kenya shillings. However, if you access the other hospitals within the panel, there is no copay charge. So if you have the outpatient benefit, you simply get served, and everything, as long as it's under the prescribed terms and conditions, meaning not including things such as supplements and other treatments which are not approved, you'll be covered fully. Now let's look at the payment details. So for payments, you can pay through the following methods. The first method is a check to Jubilee Health Insurance Limited, where you can deposit this check to their DTB account or their Citibank account. Or you can also pay using M-Pesa pay bill number 7195247, and the account number will be able to put in your Q number, which is a newly generated number after you get your quotation, or you can use your policy number during renewal. Now this payment is done annually, and after the year you get a renewal invitation stating the new premium which you need to pay for you to be able to renew your medical insurance plan. In the event of an emergency, there's an emergency contact number and also an emergency email account which you can use for you to be easily guided, and also in the event that you're in the hospital and you need quicker support from the insurance company, you can call the following 24-hour call center number, which is 0709 949 000, or can send an email to medicalcallcenter@jubileekenya.com. Now finally, if you're in need of this particular medical insurance plan and you're considering purchasing it, you can purchase it through us, where we are licensed intermediaries for Jubilee Health Insurance. Here at Online Advisors Insurance Agency, we're able to provide access to added information in relation to these particular products, and we'll be able to provide the necessary quotations for you to be able to make an informed decision in choosing the ideal limit and the ideal cover, either for yourself or for your family. To reach us, you can contact us through the number 0723 645 810, or visit our website, which is www.onshore